Your stop loss probably isn't being hunted. You're probably putting it exactly where everyone else does. Most traders think their stop loss is being hunted. They enter a trade, price moves against them. Their stop gets hit, and then almost immediately price reverses and goes exactly where they predicted. So they blame the market. They blame brokers. They blame institutions. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes your stop wasn't hunted. You simply placed it where everyone else was placing theirs. And if hundreds or thousands of traders are watching the same obvious level, you shouldn't be surprised when liquidity starts building there. Think about the most obvious swing low on your chart. Where would a beginner put their stop? Right underneath it. Now ask yourself a different question. Where would everyone else put theirs? Probably in almost the exact same place. And that creates a pool of orders sitting around one obvious level. This is where understanding liquidity changes the way you see a chart. Because instead of asking, where should I put my stop? You should first ask, where would everyone else put theirs? That question can completely change your trade. Now let's make this practical. Imagine price is moving upward. It creates a swing low, then it rallies. Most traders see that low and think the same thing. That's my stop. But the market doesn't know your stop exists. What matters is the collection of orders around that level, stops from longs, pending orders, breakout orders, short sellers waiting for confirmation. Different traders with completely different strategies can still create orders around the same price. That's liquidity. And this is why a chart can sometimes do something that looks insane. Price drops below the obvious low, stops trigger. Then price reclaims the level and continues upward. If you only look at your own trade, it feels personal. If you look at the entire market, it makes more sense. The important part isn't predicting that every low will be swept. That's nonsense. The important part is recognizing when a level is extremely obvious and understanding what could happen if price reaches it. Because a stop loss shouldn't be placed where it merely feels safe, it should be placed where your trade idea is actually invalidated. That distinction is massive. Here's where most traders make the mistake. They choose their stop first, then they choose their position size. It should be the other way around. Your setup should define your invalidation. Your invalidation should define your stop, and your stop should determine your position size. Not the other way around. Let's say you find a setup where the market should hold above a specific structural level. If price breaks that level and closes beyond it, your original idea may no longer make sense. That's your invalidation point. Now you know where the stop belongs. Only after that should you calculate how large your position can be. This is important because moving your stop closer just to increase position size doesn't improve your trade. It simply increases the probability of getting stopped by normal market noise. And moving your stop farther away after entering doesn't make your analysis more correct. It just makes the loss bigger. The stop loss isn't supposed to protect your feelings. It's supposed to tell you when your thesis is wrong. That's a completely different job. And once you understand that, you stop thinking, how can I avoid getting stopped? And start thinking, where would my trade idea actually be wrong? That is the question that matters. Now let's go one level deeper. A liquidity sweep doesn't automatically mean reversal. This is where social media trading gets dangerous. Someone sees price take out a low and immediately says, liquidity sweep. But that's not a trading strategy. You need context. What happened after the sweep? Did price reclaim the level? Did structure change? Did momentum shift? Did the market actually reject the area? Or did price simply continue falling? Those are completely different situations. So here's a simple framework. First, identify the obvious liquidity level. Second, wait for price to interact with it. Third, don't enter just because the level was swept. Wait for evidence. Then define where your idea is invalidated. Only after that should you calculate your risk. This changes the entire trade. You're no longer trying to predict the exact bottom or exact top. You're waiting for the market to show you whether your idea is actually working. And here's the part I want you to remember. A liquidity sweep is an event, not an entry signal. That's probably the biggest mistake I see traders make with this concept. They learn one new term, then suddenly every wick becomes a setup. That's not analysis, that's pattern addiction. The market isn't obligated to give you the story you want. Your job is to build a scenario and define what proves that scenario wrong. That's how you stop gambling on a candle and start trading a process. So here's the framework I want you to take away. Before every trade, find the obvious liquidity. Ask yourself where the majority of traders would probably place their stops. Then ask whether that level actually matters to your trade idea. Don't place your stop at an arbitrary distance. Place it beyond the point where your thesis is invalidated. Then calculate your position size from that stop, not the other way around. And never assume that a liquidity sweep automatically means price will reverse. Wait for confirmation, structure, reaction, momentum, context. then decide, and here's the biggest lesson. Stop trying to avoid every losing trade, that's impossible. A good trader doesn't have a magical stop that never gets hit. A good trader knows exactly why the stop is there, and when it gets hit, they don't immediately move it. They don't revenge trade. They don't blame the broker. They review the thesis. Was the idea wrong? Was the entry late? Was the market condition different? Was the stop actually logical? That's how a losing trade becomes information instead of just a painful screenshot. And if you remember only one sentence from this video, remember this. Your stop loss should not be where you're comfortable losing. It should be where your trade idea is no longer valid. That one change can completely change the way you look at charts. Because once you stop asking, how do I avoid getting stopped? You start asking, where would I actually be wrong? And that's a much better question for a trader to ask. The market will still take your money sometimes. That's unavoidable. But if you're going to lose because your thesis was wrong, not because you placed your stop in the most obvious place on the chart. Trade less, think deeper, protect your capital, and let the market prove you right. Don't force it.